Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers, if you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money, so we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back to the Time to Tech Style. I'm Lilith.
And I'm Ricky.
Up for discussion today is episode 120, 5 years gone, hands down, my favorite technical episode of Heroes. Yeah, so the synopsis, and we can dig into this really amazing.
Hiro and Ando experience a future timeline in which the explosion wasn't stopped. The president makes a serious decision with drastic consequences. Constantly on the run, Claire tries to lead a normal life. Peter must make a choice between trying to change the past and living in the present. Mahinda, now a government worker, is a reluctant persecutor of evolved humans. Homeland Security Director Matt shows no qualms in persecuting evolved humans, and Future Hiro teaches his present-day self that what he must do to prevent the explosion.
So we open this episode right where we left off. We're 5 years in the future with Hiro and Ando in Isaac's apartment. And we're kind of looking at the crazy wall of crazy. That's the 3D strings.
Yep.
And he calls out for Isaac, but gets no answer. And then we hear the sword being unsheathed, and we find Future Hiro, who can't talk to present-day Hiro because, yes, they were two cheaters in between. I love that tweet, Ricky.
It's true, though. He's like, they just found any excuse not to let them talk to each other. He's like, oh, I'm too scared of myself. They could have said something like, I'm scared to talk to myself because of paradoxes. But, even though they've already seen each other, but yeah.
Exactly. Future Hiro tells him that he's not supposed to be there and tells Ando and him that the explosion still happened even though everything was supposed to change. He explains that 5 years ago, Sylar exploded in New York City and changed the world. Ando asks about the strings and pictures hanging from the ceiling, and Future Hiro explains that it's a map that he's been working on for years. That led up to the events of the explosion. But yeah, I never saw anything about Ted. I kind of zoomed in and got nosy. And I was just like, I think that's probably where he actually ended up failing.
I think that Ted wasn't involved because of what happens in future episodes. That's why you never heard anything about Ted. Maybe. I don't know.
So you think they actually had that planned a little better?
I'm going to give them credit. I think that they knew that, Ted was going to die.
Saving the cheerleader, and Hiro tells him that Peter did save the cheerleader. Future asks Hiro if he was able to kill Sylar now that he didn't have Claire's powers. Hiro's like, wait, what? President Hiro's like, what? I was supposed to do what? Future Hiro tells present day Hiro that he needs to return to his time on the day of the explosion, and you gotta kill him. And Future Hiro shows Hiro how Hiro and Sylar's strings crossed on the day after the election. Future Hiro explains that one day he stabbed Sylar, but Sylar regenerated using the ability. And so, concerned Hiro tells Future Hiro that he can't control his powers, and they could end up anywhere if he tries. And then they get interrupted by a raid featuring the Haitian.
Salt and Pepper Matt Parkman as well, with his little.
That's a good look for Greg. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You're not going to age like milk. You're going to age like wine, sir. Anyway, Ando manages to escape along with Future Hiro, and then Matt Parkman instantly recognizes Hiro, and he tells the others to go after his friends. Future Hiro explains that the armed team was from Homeland Security, and that they're taking present-day Hiro to a holding facility for terrorists. And Ando's like, why do you think Hiro's a terrorist? And he's like, he got all wide-eyed, you're a terrorist? And then he kind of explains about what happened the day. He tells Ando that there's only one person that can help them get Hiro back, and it's Peter Bertrelli. And I'm like, oh, man. Although future Peter is pretty awesome.
I think most of the future characters are pretty awesome. It's just what they could be. But but they never turned. We never got any of them apart from Future Peter again. But yeah.
So we cut to Future Hiro and Ando, who are heading to Las Vegas to a strip club, not an exotic dance bar. Hiro's with you. It's a strip club.
They obviously make it there in super time because Future Hiro can actually use his powers, so they don't have to get buses or the Nisan Versa anywhere.
That would have been awesome if he would have still had the Nisan Versa, though. Ando asks if they're going to find Peter here, and Future Hiro tells him that his girlfriend is here, and I'm like, that's not a good sign. They take a seat and watch a dancer named Jessica, who is actually Nikki, and I'm like,
yeah.
This is the saddest strip club I've ever seen in my life. Ando recognizes her and gets excited because, of course, he does.
Yeah.
Nikki notices Future Hiro, and she is just none too.
And charges them $500 for 2 minutes. What the hell?
Classic Las Vegas, man. I think that was the champagne room. And so then she's like, yeah, you're gonna have to go. And then Future Hiro tells Nikki that he needs to find Peter, but she's like, the war is over and Peter isn't interested in helping him. She takes the seat next to the bar and has a drink, and then a drink slides down to the bar, and it's Peter who has the power of invisibility sitting next to her, and he's like,
yep.
Yeah, no. And they're watching that memorial footage because, how cool is... I think Hiro's real power was to be able to teleport to just important events in time. Because this is literally the anniversary of the explosion. So it's just...
Yeah.
Not the day before, not the day after, but the day after. So they're watching that memorial footage, and then Nikki's like, there isn't anything special about that day. But Peter says, you lost your son. And she's like, I'm trying to let go, and you should try to do the same. So yeah, then they kiss and it gets creepy and weird.
But they remind you about Sylar throughout the whole thing. Like they show his picture on the TV, and Hiro mentions Sylar, and Nikki gets mental and choky on Hiro. So they're kind of planting the seeds for what's going to happen.
Then we cut to Homeland Security holding facility. And Hiro tries to explain that there's just a misunderstanding. And Matt's trying to read his mind, and he's like...
the past 5 years aren't there, basically.
Yeah, there's a gap.
Yeah.
And, so they talk about how Future Hiro has been breaking into all these places. Yeah. And
he's been doing Prison Breaks, which is the comic book that they brought up this week. So, yeah, he's been doing all this, cool stuff, and he doesn't remember it.
And 2 years ago, he attacked the National Science Center in Raleigh, and I'm like, how dare you, sir? Then he's like, he goes, I know myself, he's not a killer. And then, Matt is just losing it because he doesn't know. And he's like, what do you have planned for today? Tell me!
That's the thing about watching the show is you kind of take things for granted. That Hiro's got he can time travel, and, but some of the characters don't know that, so they wouldn't put 2 and 2 together, that Hiro can time travel and that there's 2 heroes at this point in time. I think it's great writing on their part, because I would have just been like, oh well, it's Future Hiro. Oh wait, no, it's not, because the characters don't know that. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Matt then kind of calls Nathan on the phone, and he's like, we caught Hiro, and he's like, we've been after him for years. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's just for the anniversary of the explosion. Nathan suspects Hiro is up to something, and tells Matt to find out what it is. Matt explains that Hiro doesn't appear to remember anything from the past 5 years. He goes, and then Nathan's like, well, yeah, Nathan's like, you're a mind reader, rip it out of him. And I'm like, whoa, you can do that now? Cut to the Oval Office of the White House, and Nathan calls Mohinder over the intercom, and I'm like, oh my god, they're working together. This is another pack ship that could have totally worked. Mohinder comes in, and he's like, they captured Hiro, and Nathan tells Mohinder that they're running into some problems, and that Mohinder is the only one he trusts. And I just, when you get the reveal, this scene is just so crazy. Mohinder tells him that he'll take the first flight to New York, and then Nathan tells Mohinder that they allowed a man to blow up New York 5 years ago. So Nathan actually Nathan is actually taking responsibility for that plan of Linderman's. So that's interesting. And then afterwards, they made a vow to eliminate the danger of another such event at any cost. And Nathan's like, I spent billions of dollars in research, and you're not any closer to achieving that vow. So, yeah, we're going to have to do a final solution situation.
Yes.
I was like, whoa. This is not Marvel comic books. Whoa.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So, Mohinder goes, what, you want me to round you up too? And Nathan goes, you hold a lot of secrets. Thanks for keeping my secret. But, you know, all I can do is fly. I'm not exactly
And it's always his excuse. I love it. But yeah, this whole scene just brings into Peter, and you remember like back in like I think it was like 116 or something like that, where he's talking to Peter about, you know, what will happen if people find out. Exactly. And it all comes to pass. Like, you know, they've outlawed their breeding, they can find their movements, just anyone with special abilities. And now it's kind of, he's bringing up more things which are going to happen, even though it's not him, but, you know, they're going to basically commit genocide to try and get what they need to do to try and keep the world safe.
And it's crazy because he brings up, Mohinder goes, it's like they're a different species. It's almost to just say like, hey, they're actually not technically humans like me, not you exactly. You're another species too, but you know, it's very Hitler-esque, honestly.
Yeah, we'll give you a pass because you can only fly. That's why we'll give you a pass. Like, how do they make that distinction between what can be classed as, like, what powers can be classed as terrorism and what powers can't? You know, I know he can fly, but he can still do quite a bit of stuff with that. So, you know, he can, but like, you know, Mahinder's like out of answers. He's like these kind of, he says he hasn't slept in 5 years, which, you know, is not possible, but still, you know, it's kind of a thing. And how the world's just become a dark place. Like, you know, Peter and Nikki are estranged from, you know, they're just wallowing in their misery, trying to move forward or not move forward in the case of both of them. And you know, Hiro himself is regarded as a terrorist, and he's just battle weary.
But he also revels in it a little bit. And honestly, before present day Ando shows up, I feel like maybe he was reveling in it, and then he sees basically that optimism, that light in his life again, and you know what I mean? Like, when you kind of rewatch it now, it's just, you can watch it with so much more depth than you originally did. You know what I mean?
But I think also just having the present day Hiro to kind of counteract the future Hiro kind of shows you the difference in them. You know, you've got our hero is kind of, his optimism just shines through like the whole episode, like, and it's just the innocence, like, you know, his innocence can be trying at times, and you know, you think, oh, that's too much, but in the context of this episode, it's just enough, and it's just the right amount of light that you need to kind of counteract the misery that is in this.
Cut to the holding facility with Matt and Hiro, and you know, Matt's like punching Hiro, and he's asking him what he's planning, and then Hiro just looks at him and goes, "You want to hurt? Why would you want to hurt special people if you're special too?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a good question, Hiro." Like, the only thing that I ever really wondered was how Matt ended up on the wrong side of all of this. Was it just his quest for power to keep his son and unfortunately Janice safe, or
he's always wanted to be more than just a beat cop, hasn't he? Like, he's always trying to, maybe that's kind of what pushed him towards, you know, his powers kind of gave him that kind of one up on the competition, so they just pushed him forward, and he just got kind of lost.
But it is weird that they technically say that he is the head of Homeland Security, so for him to be kind of like running out on these special missions is weird. But hey, it's 5 years from then, so you know, drastic measures. Matt gets a call from Mohinder, and I'm like telling him to leave him with the Haitian to watch him. And then we cut to Isaac's apartment, and Mohinder is looking at the time map, and he's like, "Why is everybody's map better than mine?"
It's like, I only think in 2D, not 3D.
Back at the good old Primatech Paper Company, Mr. Bennett's still there, and he's performing a blood test on a boy while teaching, telling his parents that, you know, if the paper turns red, then he's one of them and will be arrested. But if it turns blue, he'll be free to go.
The blue pill or the red pill? You might as well carry on with the older, the Matrix stuff. Yeah.
Hannah gives the family it turns red, and then Hannah gives the family documents with new IDs. They'll become the Cranes from Boise. Oh, no offense to Idaho, but like,
But they become the Cranes, which is a nice little. I think that's a nice Easter egg for Hiro. Yeah. The thing I liked about this episode is it kind of brought you new pairings which hadn't been done, and even though you kind of forget that some of these characters have never been like worked together. So like Nikki and Peter had never like this is the first time they were together. I know. And then you got Hannah and HRG who in the comics. But in the comics, they had worked together. But here, you kind of see them together, and I think there's another one later on. I think it might have been Park. Do they have Parkman and they have Parkman and Mahinda together at one point, don't they? Which
yeah, this is the first time that they worked together in like the
and the
episode.
chemistry was just off the chain, so they had to bring it back. But
It really was. Just saying. She escorts the family out, and Bennett tells the father to do whatever it takes to protect the boy. And then here come Future Hiro and Ando. Mr. Bennett hands a list of people back to Future and tells him that that people come to him to help them stay hidden, and that what Future Hiro is asking him to do is the opposite.
Yeah.
Future Hiro explains that he needs their help to get in the Homeland Security holding facility, and that he's only asking for people he brought to Bennett himself. And he mentions D.L. Hawkins, Candace Wilmer, and Molly Walker specifically. And I'm like, Candace is still alive? Mr. Bennett after what she did, Mr. Bennett tells Future Hiro that he can't help him. And as Mr. Bennett is about to leave, Ando pulls a boss move and goes, "Hey man, this dude saved your daughter's life." And then they talk about how he sent Peter to save Claire. Isaac's apartment, and Mohinder's still looking at the map, and he's trying to explain to Matt, telling him it's a map of the living map of the past. And he's like, "Why would a terrorist care about the past?" And I'm like, "Because he's not a terrorist, you and Mohinder says that in theory, Hiro can fold time as well as space, and maybe he thinks he can change the past. And Mohinder goes, "Don't you ever wish there was something you could change in the past?" And he goes, "Wishing and making something happen are completely different." And he goes, "But not for Hiro." And then this is where the things get really kind of crazy. Mohinder finds the day of the explosion, and he says that's the day he received his father's ashes. Yep. Both seem to be focal points, and I'm like,
putting it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then he remembers what Peter said.
Save the cheerleader, save the world. Yes.
And he goes, Future Hiro did try to change it. And so that's kind of like definitely where everything kind of starts coming together. Except for this one particular scene. At the Burnt Toast Diner, like, I just couldn't believe they just couldn't go an episode without having the Burnt Toast
Diner. It's already built. It's already built. They have to, keep using sets. So, yeah.
Oh, Claire's still living in Texas? That is so stupid.
No, they explained it.
I know, but it's still stupid.
I want to know, had she been living, like, in this timeline, had she been there the whole time? Because obviously we find out later on that, Sylar can't, her powers mean that she can't kind of technically die. And we've seen in the future Sylar gains her powers and she lives on. So had she been around this whole time and no one knew about it, or was this the new timeline of her being saved? She was in hiding the whole time. That kind of confused me at the point, but we'll never know really.
So she's going by the name of Sandra, and I'm just like, oh, honey. She's got brown hair, and I'm like, remember back in 2006 when that's all people ever did to hide their identity?
But she does it again, doesn't she? She does it in another future timeline. She has the brown hair. Yep. So,
Claire hears the television about the president who's going to stop, and she watches the video of Nathan, and then her fiance shows up.
Hercules. He's Hercules in like the other Hercules movie that came out last year. Kellen Lutz,
Not the
right?
rock one, but the other one.
No, the other one.
Oh.
It's Kellen Lutz. He was in Twilight.
Oh, he's from Twilight, yeah.
There we go,
never put two and two together because he's so tiny in this.
Yeah.
In Twilight. Like, I don't even know. But anyway, he's like, you seem to really perk up when you hear him despite claiming to hate him. And he's like, that might make a guy jealous. And Claire goes, he's old enough to be my father. And I died laughing. I'm crushing on Peter before you knew he was your uncle. Whatever. So yeah, they talk about the wedding, and then he goes, "Hey, that creepy guy with glasses is back in your section." Oh God, this was a great scene for
Oh,
funnies.
we forgot to mention that he doesn't have the horn rim glasses anymore. It's as someone said on Twitter, the wire rimmed glasses now. He's WRG.
WRG. So Claire, like, she goes to see him, and obviously it's Noah, and then they're like faking conversation, and he's like, "It's
Yeah.
not safe. You gotta go. Here's your crap."
But yeah,
like,
she's all concerned about the wedding.
Just like, girl, you better run for your life.
Once again, she just cares about something that doesn't really matter. Oh, Claire.
So the TV conveniently cuts to the Linderman Act, and all the specials are being rounded up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whoa. This is the most successful, like, only 200 people in one bus. You guys are
But the Lindemann Act happened. The Lindemann Act happened a year after the explosion because they say the Lindemann Act was like 4 years. So obviously Nathan only came into power like maybe a year later. I'm assuming, like, as in like president a year later. So yeah.
I like that it's named after Linderman too.
Yeah.
Like, a known mobster. Okay.
I know, right?
Future Hiro then explains to he cuts to how several people on his list would be able to help him. And whether then that's when Ando asked him whether
Where he is.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't tell you. And Ando's like, why is it that every time I need to know something? Then it's like, this is weird because they get interrupted by Matt with a taser.
No. You get Future Hiro smiling for a little bit as well, which was quite a nice little touch. Like, Ando asks what happened, and then he says something about the space-time continuum, and then has a little smile. And it's like the only time you ever see Future Hiro smile, and it becomes more poignant as the episode goes along. But yeah, then
there we go. Suddenly, then the taser thing happens, and I'm like, oh yeah, because it cut off the moment. You're right.
Yeah.
Matt examines Future Hiro, remarks that they already caught him. And then he's like, damn it is two heroes, and he can travel through time. And then I'm like, so why are you still working for the bad guy at this point?
Yeah.
But anyway, suddenly Peter fades into visibility, running into the room. He telekinetically throws the officer into the air. And as the officers draw their weapons, Peter stops time, grabs Future Hero's sword, and he glares at Matt. And like, for the life of me, I can't remember what that's about. Oh no, because he goes, "Don't I know you?" Because of the previous episode when they first meet and they're getting inside each other's head. I think is why he stopped and looked.
Oh yeah, but no, that wouldn't explain why he's glaring at him. It's not like there's something that happened there. I don't know what, but there's something in the.
I think he's thinking the same thing. Like, how are you on this side if you can read minds? You're a special. So anyway, then when time resumes, the officers in the air hit the floor. Then they look around for Peter, and they're gone. And Matt's like, back to poor Parkman. He was so puffed up. It was so cute. Then we cut to Mr. Bennett, who's still at Primatech Papers, and he finds our office is destroyed. Matt tells Mr. Bennett that his friends got away, but then he's like, if they were his friends, he wouldn't have called Matt.
Why do you think he did that? Do you think he did that to protect Claire, or do you think he just did that because he wanted to protect himself? As in, like, HRG, why do you think he called on the guys?
Oh, definitely. He did it to protect Claire.
Yeah.
But then, like, he had to know eventually it wasn't going to be.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Like, it's so weird. Like, Nathan, like, quote unquote, Nathan says when he meets Claire, like, I thought you were dead. And I'm like, but not really. Because you've been looking for her this whole time.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It was weird. But this one was really weird. And I was really bummed out that, Matt decides to go this route. Because he explains that he helped Janice and his son kind of live on the run. And then having that conversation.
I think that kind of shows why he did what he did. Like, because of what happened, because of the bomb exploding, his family had to go into hiding, and he had to be split up from his family. So that's why he ended up doing what he's doing, because he's a sad Matt Parkman.
Maybe Janice was keeping his ambition in check, and maybe that was actually a good thing. Maybe I should appreciate Janice more. I told you, she's the one who's keeping him in check. But no, you just like Janice all the time. Like she's a ball buster. No, that's just not cool, dude. To me, that's just not cool. I hate that trope. But anyway, so they talk about, their children, and he goes, sorry you had to come to this. And then Mr. Bennett turns around and finds Hannah lying on the cold, hard floor. And just that Taylor Swift song just instantly comes into my head. Matt grabs Mr. Bennett and, basically holds him at gunpoint and says, you're going to tell me where Claire is. And I'm like, why aren't you thinking in Japanese, Mr. Bennett?
We both had exactly the same thought on Twitter. Yeah.
Literally at the same time. It was so funny. Honestly, for the life of me, they must have forgot.
Or, they had to get to Claire, so convenient plot point is again.
At the Burnt Toast Diner, Claire tells Andy that she wants to elope. He tells her that she's crazy, and she tells him she has her reasons. And I'm like, yeah, if you don't have any technically family, why wouldn't you just elope?
Yeah.
On her side. But anyway, she'll ask if he'll do it. He's like, I'll do anything for you. So then she asks the last customer if he wants coffee, and he drops the menu, and it's Matt, who of course addresses her as at the holding facility. Mohinder asks Hiro what is meant by save the cheerleader, save the world, and Hiro's like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
And then he tells him the story about Isaac Mendez in this Ninth Wonder comic, and this is just like the basic premise of Hiro, because he goes, what do you think you're going to accomplish by this? And Hiro's like, if you could save millions of lives, wouldn't you do it too?
Yeah. First things first, I forgot to mention Peter's hero face when he stops time. Is so much better than is not as good as Hiro's. I love the way that they explain save the cheerleader, save the world. They just cut it out and make it so simple as to why they have to do that, which is obviously you save the cheerleader, then that means that Sylar doesn't get the power. That means that Hiro can kill Sylar when he needs to. And they make it short and concise, and that's it. And it's the big thing that's been looming over this series for the whole time. That's the main catalyst for the show. And they do it and they explain it so good. I think it's a great little piece.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we cut to Peter, who asks Ando if it's really him. And Ando is like, why are you surprised to see me? And he goes, damn it, Hiro didn't tell you. You're dead, bro. You died in the explosion.
And then Save the Save the Hiro came into play. But yeah.
Yes, I agree. Like, they do have an epic bro TP. And I like that they bring this up. Because he goes, honestly, Peter goes, honestly, I think, you're the reason why he's so obsessed with changing the past.
Yeah, and it's a nice little thing, because obviously it gives their friendship in the present day more relevance, because you can see how it affected him so much. It made him like stoic and very gung-ho into trying to change the past, and that's one of the main reasons why he wants to change the past, is not just to save the world but to save his best friend. And it's a nice little thing. I like it.
Yeah, but then of course a wild Sanderson appears, and and she kind of sees them, and she gets all huffy puffy. So then we go back to Isaac's apartment with the president. For some reason feels the need to come down here and see it for himself. And she's like, Hiro is trying to kill Sylar before he explodes, and this is like the funniest scene when you go and look back, because he's got the pouty face the whole time that Mohinder's explaining Hiro's plan. And you're just like, what is his deal? Why is he so ornery about this? And then you're like, oh. So he goes, yeah. And he's like, Nathan's like, do you think that it will, he cut the string that represents Sylar, and he sees how everything falls around him. And then Nathan tells him that he needs answers in the now, damn it, the now. He can't rely on someone trying to change the past. And so Mohinder tells Nathan that genocide is wrong. And then Nathan tells him that he was elected to make the hard decisions, and that he has a plan, that they're going to announce they developed a cure to treat the genetic anomalies. And then he's going to blame it on Mohinder when people start dying.
But to me, if they had done that, they're gonna get rid of maybe half the population of specials, or maybe a quarter of the population of specials, and then they're gonna start dying, and people are gonna start wondering. Not everyone's gonna go there straight away. Like that probably won't work, because maybe a quarter of the specials are gonna go get it on the first day, and then people are just gonna die. So the rest of them are just gonna be like, well.
Yeah, see, that's weird though. I wouldn't think that it would kill them right away. But if it did, I guess because that was the intention when he goes to send Mohinder to kill President Hiro.
Yeah.
So that's weird. Like, because that's just not how stuff works. Like, if it's like a vaccination or anything, it takes a couple days. So Mohinder should have just been like working for Cobra or something at this whole time. Anyway, they get Matt tells him he wants to kill Hiro, but Nathan tells Mohinder to do it instead, and then he also tells Nathan that he found Claire. And I'm just like, oh dear God. Like, honestly, like, I just never really cared about Claire and Nathan, so I just was looking forward to a tedious scene. Little did I know. Meanwhile, in the Petrelli mansion, Claire's looking at some photos because that's what she does. That's her thing. Nathan arrives and tells her that she thought she was dead and that she has no idea how important she is to him. And then, like true Claire fashion, this is the best thing she's good at. She blames Nathan for making everybody afraid of people with abilities. Like, she loved her. Nathan claims that he simply wanted to make everyone aware of them, that fear is the natural response. And then he goes into the Sylar spiral where he just can't help himself. And he reveals himself to her. And then he slices her head open, telekinetic.
Doesn't he? He uses the words "eliminate the competition," which I think says so much about him. He just wants to be the best special there is. That's his that's his what's it called? His modus operandi, or whatever you call it, I guess. But yeah, when you first saw this, did you twig that it was Sylar?
Not until he started talking about his friend Candace. Like, no, when he started going into the Sylar spiral about being special, that's because we had that big, and then we're going to have another episode, but we had that episode where Sylar goes to meet his mom, and she's like, no, you should be special. So that, like, he started doing that, I was like, oh. No.
Like, it was a total OMG moment. I was just like, oh my God, this is going to happen. And then it happened. I was like, okay, I'm back invested. Yeah. And then it's not just that he's got Candace's power. Like, you also know, like, later on you'll find out he's got DL's power as well. So
many. So that means, like, that in that raid, I don't know, that means, like, because Hiro says he specifically took them to HRG, but HRG is giving people up, so he was even giving up. That's crazy.
True, yeah. Yeah, of course,
no, because then he would have been able to find Claire a lot more easily. So we protect Molly Walker at all costs. But yeah, it was crazy when you start, like, piecing it together. Like, this whole time he's been telling them to round him up, and he's probably been, like, basically killing everyone. But anyway, we see Future Hiro regaining consciousness, and he talks to Ando, and Ando tells Future Hiro that he got everything he wanted, and all Ando got was dead. I like that line. And then we see Nathan and Peter arguing, and I'm just like, this is worse than the DL relationship. I didn't think it was possible, but it's possible.
Yes.
So they have that argument. Peter reveals that it was actually him that exploded in New York, and that Nathan lied to protect him.
I don't know when, like, Sylar took over from Nathan, but he must have been harboring so much resentment towards, like, his name being used for, like, blowing up New York, knowing full well that it was Peter, and that kind of makes the battle a bit more personal, I guess.
Yeah. Or maybe I like, that was crazy though. And I was just like, okay, because I kept wondering, like, okay, why is Peter acting like this with Nikki? And so he killed her husband and her son. Yeah. And then you go get with the chick. That is a bit much. Cut to a 9/11 style memorial celebration in New York. Yep. Nathan gives a commemoration speech, and then he announces the plans for the cure. And that whole time, while that's going on,
we're having the Matrix battle.
Yeah, and Ando are at that place, and the guards set off the alarm and draw their weapons, and all this stuff is going on.
And Hiro's slicing into people with no blood. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, this is really kind of, I don't know, I like the back and forth between Nathan's speech and then them kind of,
and the five bell toll as well, which gives you like FaceTime with all the important players at this point in time. So yeah,
this is a really great scene, editing wise. And so then Matt actually is smart and tells them to stay upstairs with the Haitian so that they can have the surprise and all that stuff. So then the elevator shows up,
and no one's in it.
And it's empty. But also while this is going on, Mohinder's approaching present-day Hiro with the syringe of the final solution.
Yeah, the final solution. What a great name.
So Hiro pleads for his life and tells Mohinder he needs to go back to stop the explosion. Mohinder says he's sorry. And then he injects the Haitian instead. And I'm like, aww. Then Mohinder helps Hiro escape. Hiro asks why he's helping him. And he's like, I think I'm supposed to. And shows Hiro part of the new Ninth Wonders comic. Mohinder tells Hiro that he'll take him to safety. He opens the door, but and Future Hiro's outside. And then Future Hiro places his sword at Mohinder's neck.
Future me.
He's a good guy.
Future me. He says future me. He's a good guy. I love it.
Then he's like, you need to go back now. And then Hiro's like, I can't control my powers. And Future Hiro's like, I got this. And then he gets shot, and I'm like, you don't. So then, like, Nathan gets a phone call, and it's from Matt, and he's like, the Haitian is dead, and things are out of control, and it's your brother that's helping him. And then Nathan hangs up the phone, jumps into the air, and flies off. I was like, oh, I haven't seen that in a while. That made me laugh again. Before Future Hiro dies, he gives Ando a few pages from a comic. Ando tells Hiro that they need to get out of here. But he's like, but I'm dying. Yeah. And then so, like, Nathan shows up and sees Peter, and they're talking about this because he faced the wall, and Peter's like, you're not my brother. And then Sylar's like, nah, bet you thought you saw the last of me.
He says, brother versus brother. It's almost biblical.
Oh, that was a bit.
Especially like during season 3, where it's put forward that they might actually he might be the third Petrelli brother at one point. So yeah.
Gross. Anyway, yeah. So they get into that epic battle,
which is behind closed doors. Yay!
Again. And I like how one pulse is red and the other pulse is blue.
Yeah.
How unoriginal. Anyway. So what happens after that? As they're battling outside, Ando convinces Hiro that he has the ability to get them out of there because he believes in him.
Yes, he does.
And Mohinder tries to hold the door shut, but the energy of the battle outside is almost... Of course, Hiro does his concentrating face and manages to teleport back to the present. He looks at the comics showing him killing Sylar and says, now the hard part, before pushing up his glasses. They actually included the pushing up the glasses. I love it, because I noticed that too. He's like, now the hard part. And which is funny, because the title of the next episode is the hard part. See, they were coming into their own at this part of the season and having fun, and you can really tell.
Yeah.
This is a great episode.
Yeah. So, what are you going to give it grade-wise?
This is straight up A.
Yep, I agree. This is probably one of the... Go on.
The whole arc, actually, these 3 episodes that roll back to back to back, just a really great arc. I can't stress this enough, and I really hope that Heroes Reborn is like kind of going through what worked and what didn't work, and just kind of learn the lessons.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Flash has learned the lessons from Arrow, and got so much better. Do you know what I mean? I
also think the 13 episode kind of run that they've got is going to be the right amount of episodes for them to create a decent storyline and not have it be fillery at all, and kind of learn from the mistakes of Heroes. Hopefully, we'll see. I liked the episode because it stuck out as being completely different than everything that had come before, and also just gives me like Future Hiro. It's just like the future is just such a good timeline for them, and I think it gave us different characterships. It gave us like a different it could change the characters so we could kind of see where they were headed, and also just the reveal of Nathan was great.
Yeah, and what kills me though, because like spoilers, man, I'm sorry. Like eventually it does actually kind of come back around to that, and I'm like, damn it, It's already been here before.
Yeah, exactly.
but this first time seeing it, it was so epic, and it was so well done. They laid the seeds. The foreshadowing was amazing. And this has this actually has this is the episode that has high rewatchability. You pull something out different each time, and not a lot of Heroes episodes actually have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Best scene?
Oh, it's got to be the reveal. It's got to be Nathan reveal. So good. Just the way it like builds up, and it's, it just seems like any other conversation. It's one of those ones that obviously on rewatchability you can kind of see the seeds, and like Adrian Padzar kind of acting a bit more Sylar like. Yeah, it's really good. How about you?
I love that scene, of course. I also, for as much crap as I talk about, I liked when WRG in this case, shows up at the the birth co-signer, because I love that relationship. They both can be a bit insufferable at times, but together, when like, because he loves her so much, like
Yeah,
his love really does power this show. When you kind of like
yeah.
go back through the whole threads of everything, and that's just kind of a really, I don't know, sad look at it.
I wonder how that's going to play out in Heroes Reborn because she obviously won't be in it.
Are there any lines that stick?
I probably will go with just everything Future Hero kind of like. I think the Future Hero kind of smile, like the line that he says to Ando and then smiles. I think it's just so cute, and it it's like a break of character for him, and shows how much Ando means to him. So yeah, how about you?
It's actually a Future Peter line.
Oh,
Future Hero goes, "Should we freeze time?" And then Future Peter goes, "No, I haven't had a good fight in years." I go, "Yes, action!" Because it would have been just as easy to just really freeze time and kind of walk.
yeah. But then there's that one just walking through the corridor. Some guy runs him and just throws him into the wall, and that's it. They never were able to fulfill that big kind of fight scene that we were always waiting for. So yeah.
I agree. So yeah, trivia.
Okay, so I've got the first time Adrian Padzar appears as Sylar. Hiro Nakamura is the only main character to appear as his present self outside of the photos used in the loft. Goldfrapp is the song, or Train by Goldfrapp is the song that Nikki is dancing to. Goldfrapp, they're a British band. They're big in Britain. Yeah. Mr. Lindemann is curiously absent from the episode, even though, he gets name checked. The episode was formerly known as String Theory, but that was used for the graphic novel instead. The Oval Office was the same set used on the West Wing. However, the commentators of the episode claim that it was from Dave because the West Wing was unavailable. Mahinder's facial hair changes between scenes from short and thin to short and thick. That's just a minor picky thing. Sylar brings up Mahinder's reluctant suggestion of eliminating all evolved humans, and Silas tells Mahinder, "I understand how things work."
Yes, I tweet.
A driver's license was auctioned by NBC lists one of Claire's fake names as Sarah McBride from Michigan. No idea what that means. Obviously, the brother versus brother almost biblical thing, which we've already mentioned because of the whole Sylar maybe being, that kind of storyline from season 3. This is the first episode to feature scenes between Sunil and Greg, Ali and Milo, Sunil and Massey as well, and Ali and Massey. So yeah, there was a lot of pairings that we'd never seen before.
Was there no graphic novel?
Oh yeah, graphic novel. Sorry, I got Walls Part 1 and Part 2 because why not?
Oh, okay.
There's nothing much. They're just one continuous thing. So Walls is the story of Peter and Nikki met, but it's also Future Hiro going into Moab, I think it is. The Moab Federal Penitentiary, and helping a load of specials escape. And there really isn't much to it. It's just a prison break gone wrong. It's the first graphic novel to go into the possible future timeline and have no like present day character appearances. And it's just the episode is essentially Nikki trying to find herself in this new world and find out what she can do, and that is really all it's about. I can't really.
This is the one with the paper train trail, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I vaguely remember this one. I remember this one because it had a really good behind the scenes Easter egg. It was of Hayden Panettiere and Jack Coleman from The Company Man.
Okay.
I still have that somewhere on my hard drive, I'm sure. The story was by Joe Pakaski, and the art was by Tom Grummett, a person who actually watches Heroes. Just saying.
Yeah, it's read it for yourself. It's actually quite good because it kind of pits heroes versus like superpowered people versus superpowered people, and kind of Peter just kind of relishes like his powers in this one. Like, I think at one point someone runs really fast to him and he just says, they say, "You can't catch me." He's like, "Well, you're in my range now. I can catch you," and just chases after him. I think it's a really nice little scene. The second one is more Nikki based, and it's her trying to discover where she is in the world now that, you know, she doesn't have Micah or DL.
Yeah, the behind the scenes image, the Easter egg was a behind the scene image of Zachary Quinto and Ellen Green from The Hard Part. So
Okay.
It was just kind of like a little glimpse into things.
Okay. I have email from Charlie at English Idiot 101. Yay. She says 0.07 was a pretty good episode. I love the escape from the company scene, so cool. And it was great to see Parkman, Sprague, and Bennett working together. The fight scene between Peter and Sylar, as always, could have been better, but Sylar raising the glass shards and sending them everywhere was an amazing scene. Lindeman's archives are incredible, and so are the paintings, but of course, Nathan had to go bad guy again. Isaac's death was shot in such a good way from the side and above, and what a gruesome way to go. She also says 5 years gone has grown on her. She now really likes most of the future characters, especially Future Hiro. She never liked Future Hiro. I don't know if we can be friends anymore. I really liked the Pete and Nikki pairing, but she really didn't have much involvement though. The reveal of Nathan being Sylar was very well done, as was the reveal of Peter being the bomb. I just wished we could have seen the fight between them. Why Hiros? Mahinda saving Hiro as well as part of a great plot twist too. Really good episodes and great pace as well. I think she is right in saying that we really wish we could see a fight between them. I think any fight between two people with superpowers would be good to see. So yeah, I totally agree with her on that. Okay, shameless plugs and self-promotion. If you have any thoughts on the Heroes episodes, Primatech episodes, or questions about the show or for your host, just email us at primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can listen to us on Stitcher and SoundCloud. Just make sure you search Primatech Files, and make sure you download, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. You can bookmark our Libsyn, which is primatechfiles.libsyn.com, or favorite Southgate Media Group on SoundCloud. You can, just remember to tell all your friends about us so, you know, we can get more people listening to our podcast and more people can discuss everything that we discuss. Speaking of Southgate Media Group, you can find them on iTunes for numerous podcasts on TV and popular culture. And you can find them at southgatemediagroup.com to learn more about the host, keep up to date with all the podcasts, and read weekly blogs. You can find us on Tumblr, primatechfiles.tumblr.com, and facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes every Saturday. Just follow Primatech Files on Twitter to find out which episodes, and use the hashtag Primatech Files to join in the conversation. We finished episode 20 today, and the people we have to send shout-outs to are Skylar Artis, Willow Paulson, Lucy L. Brady, I_am_G_Force, Soft_Guitar 60, English Idiot 101, Cinzia 667, and Jack is Kandar. Thank you all for joining in, retweeting, and faving during the live tweeting. You can find me you can find my writing at Quan Magazine, that's QUAN.com, and thepeoplesmovie.com, but I mainly write at tvbinges.com, where you can go for all your binge watching needs and to create your own binge, and we will help you to promote it. Finally, you can find me on Twitter at Ricky J Diaz, that's RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you are American. Lilith?
You can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. You can find me on Tumblr, lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, please be sure to swing by my blog, littlepopculture.vulture.blogspot.com if you are a comic book or pop culture.
Download the podcast, save the world.